This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave, on the Township website, and posted on the bulletin board in Township Hall. We request anyone wishing to address council, please wait for the mayor to recognize you. Please state your name and address for the record, and please remember all comments must be kept to 3 minutes or less.
Thank you. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad?
Here.
Councilmember Coombs?
Here.
Councilmember Roy?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Here.
Mayor Sippel?
Here. Okay. Last council meeting, we had the honor to thank and recognize 3 employees that retired from the township. It was a great night, and tonight's even a better night. We're here to honor and recognize a couple of our finance officers to help save the life of a 2-year-old baby. So with that being said, we'll get right to the work session. I'll ask council and the manager to join me, and the chief to come up also. That's why I didn't call you last time. Keep him in check, Dave. Go over. Yes. We're going to ask Officer Robert Fessler to come forward, please. Anybody, friends, family, anybody else is here, welcome to come up here. We do tonight anyway. Come on over, young man. We have a proclamation here honoring Patrolman Robert Fessler. Whereas on September 6, 2021, Patrolman Robert Fessler was dispatched to report of an unresponsive 2-year-old who was drowning, and whereas upon arrival at the scene, Patrolman Fessler sprinted to the backyard and found the unresponsive child, and whereas after assessing the scene, Patrolman Fessler made the decision to initiate back blows to help remove water from the child's lungs, and whereas Patrolman Fessler took command of the scene, calmed family members, and rendered first aid as a trained professional, and whereas because of Patrolman Fessler's quick response, the child is expected to make a full recovery. Now, therefore, it was a great pleasure that I, Mayor Frank Sippel, and Lowr Township Council do hereby congratulate Patrolman Robert Fessler on a swift, assertive response. Because of officers like Robert Fessler, Lowr Township Police Department can truly be considered a premier police department in the state of New Jersey. Signed this 18th day of October, 2021, Frank Sippel, Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey. You gave me got a coin out of it. We ask Patrolman Jordan Saney to please come forward. Any other friends, family members? That means you have no friends back here, all those folks back here, no friends at all, right? That's okay. You have friends up here tonight, okay? We're going to honor Patrolman Jordan Saney. Whereas on September 6, 2021, Patrolman Jordan Saney was dispatched to a report of unresponsive 2-year-old who was drowning, and whereas upon arrival at the scene, Patrolman Jordan Saney immediately assisted in facilitating first aid to the unresponsive child, and whereas the child began coughing and regained consciousness, and whereas the child is expected to make full recovery. Now, therefore, it's a great pleasure that I, Mayor Frank Sippel, the Lowr Township Council, do hereby congratulate Patrolman Jordan Saney on a swift, assertive response. Because of officers like Jordan Saney, Lowr Township Police Department can truly be considered a premier police department in the state of New Jersey. Signed this 18th day of October 2021, Frank Sippel, Mayor. Congratulations. picture real quick, then you can shake all the hands you want. You want to get, yeah. Come on, Chief, come over here. Slide over, guys. Get Chief here. He don't want to be in the picture, but I want to get him in the picture.
He's showing his flag.
Thanks, guys. We'll take a 2-minute recession here in case the police officer want to leave the meeting.
Not yet. I'm not saying anything about our fan club. Where's your guy? So we didn't open our report quick enough, because we didn't send it to him. We won't have to till next week. He doesn't like to come and see the positive stuff.
You have a good night now. Okay, we'll get back to our meeting. We'll move down to the consent agenda. Are there any council comments on the consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to make a motion that Resolution 2021-317 be tabled.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to move forward in a second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Coombs?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Sippel?
Yes. Any other council comments on the consent agenda? We open the consent agenda up to the public. Anybody from the public want to comment on the consent agenda only? I see none. We'll close the public portion.
Approval of minutes from October 4th, 2021. Resolutions 2021-313 through Resolutions 2021-316, and Resolution 2021-318, and Ordinance 2021-20, an ordinance amending Chapter 400, Land Development of the Code of the Township of Lowr to designate Class 5 cannabis retail licenses and Class 6 cannabis delivery licenses as conditional uses in the GB1, MD2, and industrial zoning districts. This is the first reading in this ordinance. The second reading and public hearing has been scheduled for 11/15/21.
Thank you. Is there a motion to move this forward?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Coombs?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Sippel?
Yes. Okay, we'll move down to the manager report. You have anything, Mr. Laffey, to put out?
Yes, sir. I have a few things to talk about. Now, I am going to touch on some of the things that may be included in the engineer's report as well. The Clem Mulligan Ball Field, I'll start with. You know, the work began on June 28th. The contractor's making great progress down there at Clem Mulligan. They're in the process where they are doing some landscaping at this point. We are in contact with the Open Space Board regarding some fencing at that area that we want to add to the project to make it a little bit more secure. But we have to get the approval from the Open Space Board prior to doing that. And we also have a drainage, not a drainage issue, but there's some concern about some drainage around the building that we're going to address as well, and that's going to be a change order as well in this project. I'm going to briefly discuss the Cloverdown Evergreen Spruce Avenues project with the flooding that we have on those streets. The design of the project is complete by the engineering firm, our engineering firm. We have applied for a small cities grant. We're waiting for approval on that. We can't really start that project until the grant is approved and in our hand, and we think we're very likely to get awarded that grant, given the area that the work's being constructed. It's not a reimbursable grant. You have to have the money in hand before you start that project. So we're waiting for that potential award. I also want to talk about the Diamond Beach flooding. I got some information actually recently from the mosquito department that's spearheading that project with our road department. They received an email from the New Jersey Fish and Wildlife on September 15th after the review of the project. The work is not anticipated to adversely affect sensitive habitat for state-listed threatened or endangered species, including the diamondback terrapin, if the work is completed between October 25th and March 15th. We were also waiting for approval from U.S. Fish and Wildlife as well. And again, the mosquito department they are sending these letters of request because they have the permit to do the work. It's not the Public Works that has that permit to do the work out in the marsh. U.S. Fish and Wildlife issued a letter on October 15th after their review and gave approval to conduct the work between September 15th and March 31st. But again, we didn't receive that letter until October 15th. Based on lack of suitable habitat, adverse effects are not anticipated for the red knot, swamp pink, and the American chafe seed. So again, the mosquito department will be calling for a utility mark out in that area for any underground utilities. And they propose the work should begin, because of their workload at this point, around November 10th. That's what I have on that particular project. I was going to touch quickly, too, on the Bayshore Road paving project. That would be the project from Town Bank Road to Charles Street. It's actually going to be to Fishing Creek, the intersection of Fishing Creek and Bayshore, because the MUA had done some work recently for the vacuum line that they put in there, and they tore up some of our paving that is relatively new on Bayshore Road. So they're going to reimburse Cape May County for that portion from Charles Street to Fishing Creek Road, so that will get paved as well. The work beginning today or Wednesday, will include new curbs and gutter south of Heidi Avenue, new curbs and gutter south of Heidi Avenue, drainage improvements, upgrades to the traffic signal at the intersection of Breakwater Road and Bayshore Roads, and milling and resurfacing of the existing roadway. Today, the contractor began saw cutting the roadway to allow for construction of the new curbs and gutter. The work will proceed from the south end of the project near Town Bank Road and move northward. Motorists are advised that traffic will be maintained on both sides in both directions, but during work hours, traffic will be shifted approaching the work zone. Later this week, the removal and replacement of the existing concrete curb will begin. These activities will continue for a couple of weeks, and motorists should use caution when approaching the work zone. The scheduled work for Bayshore Road for this particular project should be completed in 90 days. That being said, I wanted to also bring up the Rotary Christmas Parade, which is scheduled in early December. Due to the paving on Bayshore Road, we have to reroute the parade from its present route. So we're in the process of reworking that parade route at this point and seeking necessary permission from private property owners. And once we do get the property owners to give us permission, we will advertise the new route for the parade for this year. One other thing is we had recently met with our engineer, Public Works, the recreation staff, to come up with a plan to deal with some of the eroding beach paths that we have in North Cape May. We're getting beat up pretty well by the bay. It's coming up to the dune and taking out part of the dune on several streets in North Cape May. So we have to come up with a more permanent fix for those beach paths down in North Cape May. Once we have a report squared away, we'll move forward and include that in our permit for the beach and dune maintenance plan for all of Lowr Township. That's all I have for tonight, sir.
Okay, thank you. Engineers report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a few more projects to add to the manager's report. The first one is the reconstruction of Wilson Drive. As you know, the township was awarded a NJDOT grant. And I've been pushing South Jersey Gas to start their project, and they finally did start the project, and that is under construction right now. And they said they'll be completed this work by the end of the year. And at that point, we'll put our project out to bid and start our storm work and the reconstruction of the roadway. The next is the Diamond Beach Park improvements. The township like to move forward with the concept plan that we provided. We're providing them a proposal to do that, and hopefully this will be under construction sometime next year. The next is the flooding investigation that we did on Cloverdale, Evergreen, and Spruce. And the manager touched on this project briefly, and we're hoping that the NJDCA looks favorably upon our application. And once this is awarded, we can move forward with this project. The next one is Clem Mulligan Sports Complex. Yeah, as Mike said, the majority of the site work is complete, and they're starting the landscaping, which will be a few-week process. They're slightly ahead of schedule and hoping to be done all the work by the end of the year. The last one is the reconstruction of Atlantic, Howland, Millman, and Maury Avenue. The survey and base mapping of this project is almost complete, and it should be complete here in the next week or two. And I just want to touch on a couple of proposals that we're writing for the township. At the municipal pool, we're looking to replace some of the piping there and the concrete around the pool. Also looking to move forward with some concept designs for Rotary Park. And then the last one is working with the Recs Department to replace a few of the pavilions around the township, some that are down by the ferry and some that are other parks around the township. And that concludes my report. Any questions on any of that?
Yeah, I have a question, Cody. The reconstruction of Wilson Drive, I was contacted by a business owner over there when they start running the gas lines for digging the streets up over there, and he said he had no idea they were digging the streets up. What is the process to notify businesses in the area when they're doing work like that?
So that's all in South Jersey Gas and the contractor that they select. So they have different contractors that they use to do their work. And whenever they're doing their work, they're supposed to notify the property owners in the area, including the businesses. We're not involved in that process for the township.
Okay.
Yeah, they try to keep it as, least disruptive as possible to the business, but yeah, when they're running main, in this case, it is disruptive, so.
Any other questions? Good. Anybody else?
No.
All right, thank you. Okay, we'll open up to the public. Anybody from the public want to comment? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Bill Greenfield, Villas. Touching on what Mike said about the beach pass in North Cape May, is there any updates on the berm that they were talking about?
I don't have any updates at this point, but I can reach out to
It's getting
planning.
bad in spots in the villas, too. I mean, I haven't walked a lot lately, but, I mean, it could be eroding away from some spots and ending up in others, but I know around New Jersey and the fishing club, it's coming up to the end of the beach pass and starting to take them out a little bit.
I'll give you answer some of that because that's important to me.
Right.
The problem is it got Army Corps of Engineers tied into 3 towns. Part of our town and then 2 in Cumberland County.
Right.
They had the funding, everything was looking good. One of the towns didn't want it. So it's a bit mad scramble because the Bay Shore, there's groups that are fighting to get this done because once they get that done, they can get other projects done. Because the Army Corps of Engineers is basically stalled with that on the Bayfront. We're just waiting for word to get this moving
Yeah,
forward.
it just seems to be
It's-
accelerating more lately, you know?
But you get some towns that just balk at things.
The other thing I wanted to ask about, can some consideration be given to moving the public comment section back after council comments like it was been for years? Like, for example, a few meetings back, the deputy mayor mentioned something about roads that I would have liked to ask a couple questions about, but since public comment was already over, I couldn't ask it.
Right.
you know? I
You're
mean,
always welcome.
People could, have questions about something you guys are commenting on, but they can't ask the questions.
Yeah, we do understand, and as we said before in the past, that unfortunately, public comment is comment, it's not a question answer, because point tonight, you asked a question about a berm,
Right.
that project's been a couple of years in the making, the manager wasn't
Right.
even here when we started that project, so it's best sometimes to comment, and we'll get back to you. If for some reason the council has a comment and you have a question, always feel free to call the manager the next day, and he'll give you an answer.
I mean, the thing is, too, if somebody has a question or a comment, say, call the manager, but the manager's here, the solicitor's here, all the councilmen are here, you might get a better answer. I'm not saying that you don't know anything, but you might get a better answer with everybody's collective head. I just kind of feel I don't want to say it stifles comment, public comment, but you might get less participation. I know Cape May still does it that way, from what I understand, so I don't know the reason why, what's the reason it was changed in the first place?
This is not a question answer period, it's public comment.
Okay. Well. So then I can call the manager?
Yes, you can,
And ask
sir.
him why it was changed?
You're more than welcome, Bill.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you now. Anybody else from the public want to comment? Okay, we'll close the public portion, and we'll move down to council comments. I'll go first, and I basically want to just go over some of the events we have going through Lowr Township. We have the trunk or treat Sunday, October 24th at the Ferry Terminal from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The Coombs Douglas Run, Saturday, October 30th at Town Bank Fire Hall, 8:30 a.m. We're having a shred day in front of the rec center, Saturday, October 30th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Halloween trick-or-treating for the township is Sunday, October 31st, from 5 to 8 p.m. We're having a Veterans Day Parade again. It's our fourth year in a row for this, Saturday, November 6th, at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. It starts at the Village Fire Department and runs south on Bay Shore Road to Town Hall. We have early voting scheduled in actually 3 locations in the county. Is a location in Lowr Township. It's at the library across the street from October 23rd through October 31st. Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's a flu clinic October 26th at the rec center from 3 to 5 p.m. and also Lowr Township Senior Center from 12 to 2 p.m. November 1st meeting, that's our next meeting. We're going to have an opportunity to recognize a local veterans group that's done a lot for the veterans in the township. That'll be November 1st. The manager mentioned a Christmas parade. That'll be December 11th. And I think that's all I have. I'll move it to the deputy mayor.
Only one thing I'd like to touch on, October, of course, last week was Fire Prevention Week, and October is Fire Prevention Month. And as you can see, it's starting to get cool now. We're into the fall. Just advise everybody to please check your smoke detectors, carbon monoxide alarms in your home. They do save lives. I've personally witnessed it myself, that they do save lives. And also, it's a good idea, if you haven't already, have your heater checked for the winter. Now's the time to do it before we really get into the heating season.
Thank you. Councilman Roy?
Okay. I have an announcement here, and I'd like to bring residents up to speed on a meeting that myself, the mayor, and the township manager participated in. It was last Thursday with the Mr. David Golden. He's with the Division of Fish and Wildlife, and it was regarding the Pond Creek Marsh restoration. I'm just going to read briefly the proposal that they presented to us. We're going to have further meetings on this, and further details will be released as the information becomes available. The Pond Creek Marsh Restoration Project is a 428-acre site fully encompassed by the Higbee's Beach Wildlife Management Area in Lowr Township and the borough of West Cape May County. The project site consists of the former Harbison Walker Magnesite Facility and associated landfill, Davies Lake, and the majority of the Pond Creek Marsh. The principal project goal is to reestablish tidal inundation to a large portion of the Pond Creek Marsh without increasing the flood risk to the upper watershed or inundating the eastern freshwater marsh area, allowing for habitat management of the northern marsh area. Achieving these goals will require a modification of the inlet channel to allow sufficient tidal flooding, developing a network of secondary and tertiary channels to assist tidal flow into the interior of the marsh, excavating deep flood pools for fish habitat, and creating upland inlands for shorebirds. The eastern berm will be constructed around much of the perimeter of the marsh, which will provide access to wildlife observation blinds and contribute to a trail system encircling the marsh. Now, this project is really quite extensive in scope. The area that it's going to encompass will be just south of New England Road, north of Sunset Beach, and it will also be ADA compliant with pathways. We'll have two access points, both the New England Road and Sunset Beach area. They're going to try to construct an interactive center right off Sunset Beach along with parking facilities. That is pending at the present time. They're not 100% sure it's going to fly. It all depends on funding. All the permits have been approved. They're going to try to start construction of this project in February, and on November 15th at our 7 p.m. meeting, Mr. Golden will be here to give a presentation to the public in general. This actually has a lot of potential to enhance tourism into the area. We have a lot of nature enthusiasts out there that would benefit from this. I can see in the future being quite a bit of activity all along Sunset Beach and New England Road with people trying to get to this area to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to observe nature. It's exciting, and it's something that we look forward to. And again, the next meeting will be with Mr. Golden here on the 15th. It'll be the middle of the month in November at 7 p.m. So hope to see you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Roy. Councilman Coombs?
I have nothing to add because the manager told everything about the road project on Bay Shore Road. Thank you.
I guess I'll go last next time. So, Councilman Conrad?
Try to be quick to follow them. I want to thank the Recreation Department, the Rotary, and the Historic Cold Spring Village for the Pumpkin Festival. It's, again, successful this year. People that participated, great job on the costumes. Some of them are highly creative. People get out, they have fun with that. Also, about the MUA, they're turning the corner on the breakwater, which is, let's put it frankly, it's a nightmare right now, trying to get past because they're diverting traffic. They're doing one lane, and they're only allowing one way at a time. It's a much-needed project, but it's not just for Ward 3. It is covering parts of Ward 2 and Ward 1 that were not getting sewer at any other time. There's one family I know of in Ward 1 that they were surrounded by sewer. They needed sewer desperately because their actual drainage field was on the neighbor's property, and now they're going to get sewer hooked up because of this project alone. Granted, it was mainly for Ward 3 and getting to areas that are, it's bad over in Irma Park for sewer. They're getting there. They're moving forward. But it is covering other parts of the township, and it's getting people much-needed relief because some of them don't have drain fields anymore, and it'd be highly expensive. Just be a little bit patient. Once they get on the breakwater road, it should be a lot faster, and it should be a lot easier on the motorist. Other than that, have a good night. Stay safe.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.